And where do you see the future of you and your wife? Where do you see yourself headed real estate wise? You want to get into the larger deals, commercial, industrial, anything like that? Ramp up, stay the same? What's coming?
I was going to say that's a great question, but I've said that after every question you asked. So that's my stalwart to think of.
There you go. Yeah, we all have a stalwart.
So for my wife and I get asked that question a lot of like, why are you staying in single family? And I go back to, I think it's a Pace Morby thing where I remember him asking at a conference that I was at, he asked the room, what's the hardest thing about real estate investing? And you had somebody yell out, finding capital, and you had somebody, yell out, rehabbing the deal. You had somebody else yell out finding the deal, and he stopped and he was like, no, the hardest thing about real estate investing is there's too many ways to make a bunch of money. And I couldn't agree with that more, where I've got friends like you that are crushing it in large multifamily. I've got friends that are crushing it in small multifamily, friends that are crushing it in storage, friends that are crushing it in, Airbnbs or midterm rentals or single family rentals. And so there's so many different ways to make money. And I think as an entrepreneur, most people that are entrepreneurs, you're an entrepreneur because you have shiny object syndrome. And so I've had to really rein myself in on that, where it's, for right now, I want to be the best single family real estate investor in the world. And I'm going to focus all of my attention onto that. And I'm not really going to think about what's next. I think whenever that time comes, it'll make itself abundantly clear. But right now it's like, we're going to build our company to be an incredible single family real estate investing company. And over time, there might be an opportunity to pivot, but I'm not out there looking for pivots, because I think that if I'm out there looking for pivots, I'm not going to be as good as I could be as a single family real estate investor. And so, and I tell people that, I had a conversation with a guy who invests, in storage, and he reached out to me and wanted to invest in single family, but also wanted to continue storage, and was looking into small multifamily. And he was talking about wanting to do it in St. Louis. And so we had a conversation. I was like, hey, for you to actually be successful and like to scale the way you want to scale, you have to be all in. Because if you're not all in, and I didn't say this I wasn't being mean about it, but if you're not all in St. Louis, I'm gonna beat you. Because that is me and my team's primary focus is investing in single family rentals. And so, that's kind of how we view it right now, where we're all in on single family.
I love it, man. Yeah, it's easy to look at what other investors are doing and be like, oh, that looks better than what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Like I do it constantly. I mean, I love what I'm doing, but I'm still like, oh man, that looks really fun to flip all those houses, or like, the grass is always greener. And it doesn't really matter what you do. Like if you're having fun doing it, if it's working, why pivot? Why change? Yeah. Why add on new complexity?
And the key is just stick to it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Do it over and over and over again, and you're going to be successful.
Yeah, I think most people just get bored. Mm-hmm. And they get bored and say like, well, what do I do now that's harder? Instead of saying I'm bored, so I'm going to get my systems even more dialed and become even better at this. Like that's not the response people do when they get bored. Yeah. They always was, I'm going to go do something new. And then go be brand new at it and fail at it for 10 years, like because it takes a long time to get good.
Yeah, and I would say for us, like I've certainly gotten bored, and this sounds really dumb, but like when I used to buy a house, like I would get this adrenaline rush and like the endorphins, the dopamine hit or whatever, and it was the greatest feeling in the world. And now I buy a house and like I don't even think anything of it. Actually, I'm like, oh, that's just more work for it. It's and so it has gotten boring, but I continually have to remind myself, like, because of this, I get to do so many cool things. Like, and also, we've created new ways in our business where we've started scaling our business quite a bit and bringing on more employees. And now I'm not buying houses as much. I'm leading a team and I'm managing people. And so I'm still learning different skills, where at the beginning I was learning how to be a solopreneur and do it all by myself, and really, really hard work and long hours. And now I'm learning how to manage people and to be a leader. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I saw a video earlier today on the internet that just really, it really touched me in that it was this director, or a writer. It was a writer of like a script writer for like movies, right? He was at a computer, a laptop, and he's on a meeting, like a Zoom meeting with somebody. And you just kind of see his face, and he's arguing, and he's saying like, but it doesn't really make sense. I didn't write it that way. Like the character can't say that at that point. And the guy's like, says something back. He's like, okay, I'll go back and work it. But I just, and the call ends and he slams kind of the laptop shut and he's just like rubbing his eyes. And then like it's in this little skit, he's over there on the like another version of him is over there that looks way younger. And he says, wait a minute. We made it? And he looks up and he's like, huh? Yeah, he's like, we're writing movies?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, yeah, but you know, it's super frustrating. He goes, no. We made it. We're literally doing the thing that I wanted to do when I grew up. Dude. He's like, yeah. Isn't that powerful? It's like, we forget.
Oh my goodness. I had a moment like this last week. So flipping is a very cash intensive business.
Yeah.
And so we've had some flips that are delayed, and we had to basically cut a check from our personal account for over six figures to our Revel City, our business account, to be able to fund some rehabs because we had run out of money. And you know, all that money's coming in. We've got multiple closings in the next couple of weeks, but we had literally ran out of money.
Yeah.
And I remember I was so pissed about it. And I was literally walking on the beach, and I was like, I was fuming over it of like, why did we have to do that? And part of it was my fault where I just didn't line up the proper funding for houses and whatnot. But I was like, wait, 3 years ago, if you said I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in my personal account to be able to cut a check to my business account while I'm standing on a beach in Hawaii, I would have kissed you on the mouth.
Yeah.
You know, like it would have been the best thing ever. And so like, it's just, you know, expectations, like, like right now, my expectations have risen. But like, if I look back at, you know, 29-year-old Cam 3 years ago, I'm ecstatic about that. I'm like, are you serious? I get to do that. Like I get to cut a $100,000 check to my business account. So
you're living your past self's dream.
Yes.
Right now. It's like in so many areas, like some people might be like, well, I don't have the real estate yet, but look at where you were 5 or 10 years ago. Like most people are just living a future version of their past self. Like they did it. They made it. Maybe it's not been perfect, and they're not saying anything's without struggle, but in that struggle, it's good to remember like, oh, look how far I've come.
Yeah. That's one of the things so 2024 for me is the year of living in the present. You know how everybody has like their words at the beginning of the year. That's one of mine because I'm truly living my dream life right now. Like we if you look at our 5-year goals of have a net worth of over $5 million, living in Hawaii, cash flowing over $100,000 a year, like we've hit all of those in less than 5 years. And instead of like, I'm very happy and pumped about that. I'm not saying that I'm not, but instead of living in the present and being like, man, that's incredible, and I get to enjoy it. Like I've got 3 healthy kids, an amazing wife, and I get to enjoy this. My mind's like, what can I do to make more money? What can I do to grow? What can I do to scale? What can I, you know, it's really bad at just like relaxing in the present and being like, man, we've accomplished some stuff, and I'm gonna celebrate that. So trying to 2024 is my year of being more focused on the present and not the future.